All right, guys.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to the Saucy Sibz Podcast. It's Nicodemus.
I'm Francesca.
And we are here with our good friend.
My name is Corey Van Aken. Hello. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stoked to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've met through living in Colorado.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're friends with three of our friends who have been on the podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
We're just going through this group.
Well, I feel like you guys all do cool things. You know what I mean? That's why it was like with like Zach Satchel, with M. Bachman and Madi. I mean, all those podcasts were so good. So I felt like you were definitely, but I feel like you definitely do like kind of more extreme stuff.
I feel like I guess I have many circles of friends in Colorado.
Yeah.
In life in general. But yeah, definitely more extreme would be the good word for that. I guess. High intensity, adrenaline packed stuff.
So Corey is a professional snowboarder and a DJ and a bartender, house DJ, right?
Yes, house music.
Okay.
Love house music.
We all love house music. I feel like that's our favorite genre.
Dance music, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But we were just saying that right before we started this podcast, and Francesca was like, Nick, stop. Talk about this on the podcast. It's like
we've been chatting for an hour actually and like getting set up because I don't know, it takes us so long to set up our little studio.
Why does it take us so long to get set up? We need
think it would be faster. We need an intern.
We really do. Hiring intern.
Yes, we're hiring personal trainers, interns. But we were just like, we kept talking. I was like, Nick, this is all shit for the podcast. And I was like, all right, Corey, we're about to like ask all these same questions, but like on the pod.
Okay, so you're a professional snowboarder.
Yes. But that term gets thrown around. So I feel like easily and unworthingly today, like so many people try to claim that. And I just want to clarify, there's like different tiers of that.
Okay. Can you explain this to this? Because like, you know, because I have met like professional snowboarders and I'm like, are you really?
Yeah.
You know, I know like you are, but
they're not like celebrities. They're not like actual like actors or anything like big name stuff like that. But even though they go to the Olympics, I feel like compared to, or they're not like football players, you know what I mean? They're not like that kind of level of stardom, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So what's like the lowest, like what's like the entry to where you can say for someone to call themselves a professional, they at least have to have done this?
So there's, I guess, technically the professionals, you're getting paid by a sponsorship to snowboard. And there's a lot of different ways that people have kind of found loopholes in that today, like being YouTube bloggers and stuff.
Okay.
Like an influencer. So someone they influenced once and they're like, I'm a professional.
And they're not, their like skills aren't like at that pro snowboarder like tier that you would imagine when you hear somebody be called a pro snowboarder. But there's like the top level is like, obviously X Games, freaking, full on 360 contract paid on a year salary to simply just be on your snowboard and go do that. And then there's like all the way down to what would be called, like where I'm at would be like an AM rider or amateur, like regional sponsored snowboarder, where I still get paid to go on like photo shoots and ride certain, like I have my sponsorships and I'll, always be wearing those brands.
Okay.
And I do get paid to be on like it's almost like a per diem or like per photo shoot kind of stuff. Like, if you go get this amount of shots, we have this budget for you kind of thing. But I'm not in like I'm not like traveling the world and competing and like on a fully, like I'm not on like a actual fully pro contract. That is like, if you're like the core snowboarders are like, oh, you're not pro unless you're at that level. But so technically I am pro, but I'd be like an AM rider is what they call it.
So if like a professional snowboarder heard me introduce you as a pro snowboarder, would they like scoff or would they be like,
I guess it depends on who.
Yeah.
Because I'm also friends with like a lot of top tier level pros, and I've been introduced by the top guys as a pro to someone else who we were just like chatting with at the skate park or whatever, So
Corey's a pro snowboarder.
Corey's a pro snowboarder.
It took me a long time to kind of like come to be like, you know what? No, all right, I am. I worked my ass off to get here. I'm gonna own that.
How did you get into that? How does one have the time or get that good? Do you just have to go constantly?
Yeah, I think.
And then go ahead.
Practice makes perfect, I think, but I don't know. I would do it on weekend trips growing up, but never considered it to be anything like worth like looking for a career in it. I don't think I even started until 2013 or 14.
Oh, okay. So you've been doing it for a while.
A little bit now.
How long have you been in Colorado?
7 years, a little over 7 years. Yeah. Moved here on so I got a job. I kind of was like in a dark place in my life. And then I like got a job snowboarding at my local hill that I grew up going to as a snowboard instructor. Okay. And then I was like, oh, this changed my life. That was in West Virginia. And then I basically that summer applied out west and moved out here and packed all my shit up and moved on. So
dope. I think about like being a pro snowboarder, like what it would be like to be like that. And no, I'm not very good at snowboarding. You know what I mean? Like, but I think it'd be cool.
We just don't like being cold that much. Nick,
I don't like to wake up early.
Yeah, people are like, oh, are you getting your pass this year? Everyone's been so excited. If one more person like tells me how excited they are for it to snow, because we live in a ski town,
right?
So that everyone's like, I'm over summer. I woke up and it was 40 degrees this morning, and I said, fuck this.
And this is why you're not a pro snowboarder. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you learned to love the cold. That's
why.
Yeah.
You learned to love the cold. But I will say also going to any other like city or where it's warm, we just can't handle the heat. After we get conditioned up here, you know? It's
true. I kind of am like a pussy with the heat now. But
we were just in Missouri, and I was just like, I went to this wedding, and I was literally I felt all like I was just sweating at this, really nice rehearsal dinner. And I was like, guys, it was outside. And I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, take me back to the mountains.
I need to stand in front of an air conditioning machine right now. And like,
yeah, because it's August. What is it? August 22nd?
No, it's August 18th.
Oh.
August 18th, 22nd.
It's August, and it was 40 degrees this morning.
I know. It's super fucking cold here. But I feel like, are you just like on another level of like...
Oh, I love the cold. I run so warm my body. And I don't think I was like that always. So it's something you just kind of like get used to, I think.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, because like, how do these like... I look at dogs. Dogs don't get cold. I feel like they just like...
they can.
They can. But like, I feel like they just like don't think about it and like... It's
evolution, right?
Evolution.
We're all sitting here looking at Zaza. I set Za up in a little bed. She's watching us from afar. She knows, like, did you see how she was like rambunctious? She knows when the pod's on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like front row seat, ready for it. Yeah.
She's our intern.
Yeah. Doesn't do shit.
Overpaid. No.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, is there like a level of like coldness or blizzard that like will like make you not want to go out?
Oh, for sure. I mean, anything below like -10 is like pretty brutal, But I've had days where it's like -40 before, -50, but like with wind chill, it'll be like -10 or 15. But with the wind chill, it feels like -40 or 50.
Oh no!
And you're just out there still, like trying to stay warm. Like you can't stop.
Yeah.
You basically just can't stop moving on days like that. You have to like stay active.
But you go like hella skiing and things like that, right?
I've actually never been in a helicopter. No.
What are all those videos on your
So those
Instagram?
Are all snowmobile access or just hiking too. Like a big split border backcountry, like just go and climb the mountain yourself and go down.
Yeah.
But spell your Instagram for the people.
It's Van Aken, VANAKEN.
We were going through it this morning.
Which is your last name?
That is my last name.
Are you Dutch?
Half Dutch, half Irish, pretty much. I think I'm second generation American.
Okay.
Cool. I love the van. Like, like McDonald is like so bad, or like, McPhee, but the van, so good, but very Dutch.
Like Serena Vanderwoodson from Gossip Girls.
Vanderwoodson? Serena Vanderwoodson. Yeah, I know Serena, but Vanderwoodson?
Vanderwoodson. I love a van.
Or
Vanderwoodson.
I mean, I'm sure, but she's just like this, like a rich American socialite from Gossip Girl.
Cool.
Blake Lively.
Yeah.
Blake fucking Lively. But
she's sober.
She's
sober?
You know
that? Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm on my not drinking journey.
We're still on our fitness journey, everyone.
Yeah. Actually, let's talk about what we're drinking.
Oh yeah. We always forgot to do that. We're drinking 3 different things.
We are. I just discovered this Hop Lark. So it's actually carbonated water and hops. So what they make beer with, but not barley. So it's gluten-free. So it literally tastes like a light beer. But it's not. You guys, I'm kind of obsessed.
No, I like it too. It tastes like an IPA, just a little less body.
Yeah. But I never even really liked beer that much. Mm-hmm. So I'm obsessed, guys. I discovered it yesterday at Outer Range.
You really did.
Hop Lark, new favorite thing. I'm going to crush like 8 of these during the podcast. Then it kind of makes you feel a little like, loose. Like hops actually have like
because hops is part of the cannabis family. Actually, people don't know that, but cannabis family, and it is a sedative. It is like good for anxiety. You know, not that beer is, and beer is brewed with hops, but like, well, I guess beer is kind of good for anxiety.
I mean, yeah, for the moment.
For the moment, yeah.
My psychiatrist once, when I was like, I feel like I should like stop drinking or cut down, he was like, I don't know, I think it'll make your anxiety worse. He was like, keep drinking. I was like, Jesus.
All right.
But no, so sometimes to make me like feel better about just like, you know, we're getting in shape and we have a lot of goals that we want to meet. And sometimes those goals aren't compatible with like going out every night. Yeah. And so I looked up like celebrities that don't drink. So Blake Lively,
really?
yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a good way.
No, it is, because you're just like, oh, okay, like these people are so cool and so awesome, and like most of them don't drink. But Ryan Reynolds has Aviator Gin.
Yeah,
and
Aviation.
Then, you're right.
Is it Aviator? Aviation.
Okay, and then Blake Lively does Betty Buzz.
Betty Buzz.
So they're cocktail mixers, but they also can be enjoyed alone or like added to alcohol. And I was like, oh, I always wondered why she did that. And yeah, she quit drinking years ago.
Nice.
And I was like, okay. But anyway, Hoplark. What are you drinking?
I forget, what was the name of it?
What?
The Epic.
Oh,
okay, tell me about this. I fucking forgot the can. Okay.
It like shows up because they cut.
Just
I met these guys at the Vail Wine Classic the other day. Guys, I'm obsessed. We're absolutely going to start working with them.
So Blue Agave, 100% tequila, Blanco, is Epic Western Crisparita. Guys, I'm telling you, when I drink, I don't really love margaritas. Well, I love margaritas, but I don't love tequila. But like this tastes not like a canned margarita. It tastes like you can feel the salt in it. Yeah. It kind of tastes like someone just made it for you on the beach. Like the moment I took a sip of it, I was like, it's like
fresh.
It's the best canned cocktail I've actually ever had in my life.
I think so too. Yeah.
It's 100% Blue Agave tequila. They told me the tequila they use, and this is $80 a bottle.
Oh, and so it's like a really nice tequila.
Yeah. And then sparkling water, lime, and salt. And one of these cans is 2.5 White Claws. So it's like,
so you gotta be careful
with these.
I know, yeah.
No, dangerous.
Tastes so good.
Yeah.
They
really don't taste like too much.
And the dudes were awesome. All right. So that's,
well, you know, they say that the margarita is the greatest cocktail ever made because it has so few ingredients, but it's just blended together so perfectly that the outcome tastes like completely different of what it is. And right. So it's just like tequila, salt, and lime pretty much at its heart. And so when you do that, it's like, oh, here's your whole on, you know, it tastes.
It's like you're not trying to force it. It just works.
It works.
This is something that works. These two things work together.
Simple, but like has depth to it. Unlike, you know, a lot of these like really crazy cocktails have like 14 different ingredients. And it's like, yeah, it does taste strange or bizarre or good and complex because it has so many things, you know? So what are you drinking?
I'm drinking some matcha tea with honey and lime. Did you put it or not?
No, just honey and matcha. Yeah.
Which is great because I left my voice in New York City. And this is helping bring it back right now.
All right. So
wait, what were you in New York City for?
Yeah, let's get into that.
I went out there to play a show, my first ever show in New York City.
How did you book that?
So it was a friend of mine, Kahan, who is a bigger DJ on the East Coast. He plays like New York City, Washington, D.C. He plays in Atlanta a bunch. We have been friends. We met a couple of years ago through like a mutual friend and have just kept up with each other on social medias, you know? And I went to New York City a bunch last summer when flights were super cheap. Yeah. And I saw him playing and I was like, I want to play here so bad. And then he randomly reached out like a couple weeks before the trip and was like, hey, I got a show with your name on it if you can make it. And I was like, yes.
Bitch, I am there.
I'm there. Yeah.
So with your professional snowboarding, you've recently started your house DJ career.
That is correct.
Very fucking Colorado. But I like how you're doing it, you know? I feel like you've been getting a lot of shows. Like
When did you start?
Well, I started playing music probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago in high school with someone you guys have had on this podcast.
Marty. Shout out Marty.
Shout out Marty. Much love. But started with him, kind of did like house parties and stuff back in the day. Have gone through so many different chapters of the music career, but more recently, like you said, really gotten into the house music and making people dance.
Make people dance. I love that. The 2 podcasts ago, when I got attacked by the crazy woman who thought that I hit on her boyfriend at the drag show, I said that like I was on the stage at this concert. This like, you know, my friends were playing a show. He was the DJ, so that's kind of like
full circle.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it's just like
he was like, "Wait, I heard you got in a fight." Actually, someone else we saw at Outer Range yesterday was like, we just always introduce ourselves and we're like, oh, like we live down the street. I'm from Tusca. This is Nicodemus. And he was like, actually, I met you guys. Didn't some girl try and fight you? Oh my God.
It was one of the bartenders at Outer Range. Yeah, no, that was wild. And I was just like, yeah. That did
that
fucking
was us.
happen. Yeah.
My favorite part was when Nick yelled at her and goes, I don't accept your apology and I will be talking about this on my podcast. Please walk the other way. And I was like,
oh God, you know. Yep. But you were the DJ for that. So thanks for setting the mood to that.
I'm sorry that for whatever reason that person felt the need to be, you know.
We love a little danger and we love a little drama.
I love a little drama, not going to lie. However, like it had nothing to do with you. It really had nothing to do with anyone, not even me. Like this woman was insane. Like it really just happened out of nowhere. But that it was just so funny because I was so excited to see you play with Littlefoot and we did. But then like she was just like really like attacking me. So I had a quick little like intermission with like me dancing.
Mixed big crowds, a little bit of booze and some house music. Then people are going to get a bit of an adrenaline.
They will. They literally
especially out here, Summit County.
Summit County gets a little fucked up.
In a nutshell. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like of the musics, would you say that like house music is kind of like more of like the good vibes and not really like let's get fucked up, drunk and fight each other?
No way. I think it's way more good vibes. I also think it's like international. You know, it's
nice.
Crisp. No, it's more global, I think.
It's way more global.
Way more inclusive. It's way more like I don't want to say like bougie, but I do feel like the people, like the vibes at house shows are just so much more like fun and fancy and like I said, inclusive, good vibes. Like, yo, you're here, like, let's have a good time. You know, people don't fight each other at house shows.
No,
no, I couldn't see that.
If you do, you have other things going on in your life.
Yeah. It's not like a violent music. And that's why some people don't like it at bars that we know.
Yeah.
Because they think that it inspires people to do more like
drugs and less drinking. Somewhere that I used to work didn't want to book house DJs because he was like, oh, the crowd just doesn't drink as much. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, there is more kind of like...
I've been wasted at many house shows.
I was going to say, I was like, I think it's still a drinking crowd. Yeah, it might not just be your like bro-y, like fireball shot crowd.
Woo! You know, like, let's go. You know, like that type of shit. That
big bro-y. Yeah. Well, you're not, instead of buying like 5 PBRs, maybe you'll buy one really nice cocktail or something.
Yeah. So I think
probably the same cost anyway. If
it's more, still, I mean, think of like Zodiac House and how much like
people fucking drink.
They still drink. It was just like a funny, he was like, oh no, I can't book any DJs like that. I won't make any money. And I was like, all right, bro.
That's not true. That's just a stigma with electronic music in general. I think Avicii did that to us.
Avicii. Yeah.
But there was that whole like, people thought that he was only people just go to Avicii shows to do Molly or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You're like, you can't, he's not, I'm just making the music. I can't control what people do, you know? So.
I feel like I saw Avicii. I went to an Avicii show in a very small venue back in like when I was in high school.
Jealous.
I just knew this Colombian girl who like knew about him before like the mainstream did. It was Laura Rojas. Of course. Yeah. And she was just Colombian and she just always such a great taste in music. Especially like DJs and electronic music. And she brought me to an Avicii show and we didn't even drink. Because I think it was a school night. Like I was literally in high school and I don't think I was 21. I think I was like 19. And then since I was driving, I was just like, yeah. And so I went to an Avicii show in a small venue, sober, and it was sick as hell. Like I was like, that's okay. And
he's my all-time favorite.
Is he really? Mm-hmm. He's your type of music. You know what I mean?
He's one of the best to ever do it. I don't think anyone will ever do it as good as.
And it's just like so many of his lyrics and stuff have always like when I've been like going through shit, I just feel like I've always like really been there for me. I don't know. I feel like a very close connection. I know he like dealt with a lot of like depression and stuff.
There was a lot of depth to him for sure. That's kind of like I only know his big hits. I'm like, well, not just his big hits, but I know like a lot of stuff that he's done. But I'm interested in like the connections that he has with other DJs too, and like his mentorship that he really had, like Mike Posner and stuff. So Mike Posner, like, you know, I took a pill in Ibiza to think so Vichy would think I was cool or whatever. And then like people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I've heard, didn't they make a whole documentary about this stuff too, right? It's on,
I don't know. Did they?
Netflix or Hulu or something. Whoa. There's definitely,
watch that next.
Yeah.
I think there's a few actually, but one of them is like with him and all of the collaborations he's done and the people he's worked with. And they're like, it's like his post passing away. So it's like people talking about him and like the connections they had.
And like what he means for like,
the inspiration that he and how his workflow, like he was very particular, very, very, very like, it has like the one little nuance thing in the vocal, like the vocalist he was working with, he was like, you have to hit it exactly like this. But then that's how greatness happens, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I want a mentor. We need a podcast mentor. You know,
I think all the great success coaches on Instagram, they always talk about how like if you don't have a mentor, like what are you doing? You need to like, and we kind of, we
don't really have, like, we've never really been on any other bigger podcasts, like where.
I mean, I have and stuff. I feel like I used to have a mentor.
Have. Yeah, I guess I haven't. You know?
Joe Rogan. We have some new apprentices, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
we would die to be Joe Rogan's apprentices. I will.
Can I say something about that? Okay, this is really funny. So, I was hanging out with some friends, just like some old high school friends, and I think this was like back in like I just graduated college, and I was really drunk, and I think I just told people they're like, "Oh, Nick, what's up?" And I was like, "Well, I'm about to be on the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, I'm really excited." Like, I was clearly kidding to my friends, and they just go, "Wow, that's really good." I was like, "Guys, I'm fucking kidding. I'm so fucking kidding." And they're like, "Oh, we just thought like it was happening." I'm like, "For what?" And they're like, "I don't know."
It seems like it was meant to be. Like, kind of,
what a compliment. I was like, "Okay," but I mean, I haven't but.
Not yet. I mean, that's the goal. He's the top podcaster in the world.
You know, Logan Paul says he is, but it's actually Joe Rogan. Like, shut the fuck up, Logan. But
I want to know. So it's like, because call her daddy. Alex
Call
Cooper
her daddy's
is up
insane.
There.
Yeah.
Is she like top? I think she's top 5.
I think the top 5 are like Joe Rogan, Logan Paul, call her daddy, and then there's like this group of like 5 like gamers that have like
the gamers.
Just, you know what I mean? That I don't. And H3 is huge, you know, but I really think it's like either call her daddy or no, it's impulsive or however you look at the stats, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's always different.
Monthly listeners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy how much more Joe Rogan's listened to than like any like traditional media now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's becoming like they called to have him removed from Spotify.
Yeah.
Because he had someone talking about vaccines. And they were like, oh, this is misinformation. You need to pull him off and just all this stuff. And it's because he has a wider audience than like CNN, Fox, all of the other ones put together.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Did you hear about that?
Made it. I did hear about that. I didn't really read into it, but I think I saw some news articles about it. But.
He had 2 people on that were kind of like in contrast to what the mainstream narrative was as far as COVID. And then one was about vaccines.
They were awake.
Right. They were. And but it's crazy because he has also had people on the podcast that were very pro-vaccine and about like how you should be social distancing. You shouldn't be hanging out with your neighbor and all these things like that. But that's why he just has like a large array of people on. So that's why it's like funny that he got so attacked. But no, I mean, his Spotify deal was like $100 million. Yeah.
Call her daddies. Yeah. Alex Cooper got 60 mil.
60 million, yeah.
But we side with Sophia.
We say, Sophia.
That would be so nice.
Yeah, well, she screwed her best friend out of the deal.
Oh, no, really?
Do you know about Call Her Daddy?
No,
so it's 2 girls. Yeah, they're one of the top podcasters, and they got in a fight. Sophia wanted more money, and I've like watched both of their rebuttals. I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure. But after watching both, it really did seem that Alex went behind her back to Barstool and cut her out of like a huge Spotify deal.
Yeah.
And shit. Could you imagine if your friend and you like broke up your podcast and you were left with nothing and she got 60 mil?
I know. That's you. You're good. Your kids are good. and your kids are goods money. Like,
yeah.
You don't have to do anything else that if you don't want to.
Neither of their podcasts are as good without each other.
Because it kind of destroyed both of it, you know, even
I mean, Alex is still like going up and Sophia's doing her thing and she's, you know, gonna get to where she like needs to be. But I will say that why they got so big was their banter together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. That's just
Nick, we can't break up.
Oh.
What if I cut you out of a deal? I'm like, sorry. I'm just kidding. It wouldn't.
It would break.
It
like
would never happen.
Did you see my face?
I know it just wouldn't happen. But like, it was like a $60 million deal that someone
16
like
or 60.
60. And
Wow,
but
60.
the thing is I guess that they had ghostwriter. One of the guys that was one of their best friends. Basically.
No, it was Alex's best friend.
Alex is the main host, and Alex's best friend basically came up with the entire idea of the podcast, and Alex cut him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he looked at Sophia and was like, "You're next."
And she didn't believe it. And she like sided with Alex, whatever. But then his alias name's MILF Hunter. And MILF Hunter then came on Sophia's podcast.
And told the whole story from his perspective. After she was cut out. After Sophia was cut out. So it's actually like really fucked up.
Podcast world drama.
Dang. Yeah. That's like such a.
And Nick finds all this out because I keep up with like so much pop culture.
You know about like who was just on Sophia with an F's podcast?
Jay Cutler.
And I was like, who the fuck is Jay Cutler?
He's a football player, but then he was married to Kristen Cavallari, who was on The Hills.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never thought I was that obsessed with pop culture, but I know
you're
everyone's
fucking obsessed. You're fucking obsessed.
I am. But I don't like buy magazines and stuff like that. I just social media. I keep up with everyone's lives.
That's all you need nowadays anyway. You don't have to subscribe to magazines. Or
no, I guess I kind of am.
I have my pop girlies I'm obsessed with. Like, you know, I like, you know, Ariana Grande. I like Lady Gaga. I love Miley Cyrus. But like, and I know what they're doing. And of course, like I know what the Kardashians are up to generally, but like I don't fangirl over these people. I just kind of feel like I have a good idea. You're like another level.
I have their family trees mapped out.
Oh my God.
Well, I have to explain. The Kardashians are related to everyone.
Yeah. They are.
There's so many.
There's a lot going on with like all of like celebrities in general that I do think it's very interesting. People think, oh, I don't care about celebrities. I'm like, okay, but you would care if you like got into it. It's just interesting.
Of course.
Do you have celebrities?
I feel like I follow people that are more in line with what I'm doing versus just celebrities that are celebrities because or like they're famous because they're famous. You know, like different house DJs, of course, like Chris Lake Fisher.
Are you going this Saturday?
Heck yeah.
Should we go? Let's go.
I should come.
I'm not going to be able to go. I think
you work until 5.
No,
you'll just show up late.
5:30-ish, and then I'm an hour and a half drive.
No, we're going.
I mean, I might show up late.
I will see you guys there.
You're going to be there though.
So Marty will be there too.
Okay. You know, and we love Marty, but you know who I really want to see is Claptone.
Well, he's on the lineup.
Yeah, I know. Claptone is one of my favorite DJs.
Heck yeah.
Like I am obsessed with him. Like that's more, of course I love Fisher and Chris Lake. I do love Fisher.
That's like the biggest celebrity DJs in house music right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, see, like I follow Fisher's wife on Instagram.
Chloe,
so I know what she's up to. Chloe Chapman.
Fisher comes off so gay too. Before I had watched a lot of his sets.
Australian.
I know he's Australian. Australians
also ex-pro surfer turned DJ.
Bro, I did not know that.
Snowboarder turned DJ.
Hey.
Following his footsteps. Fisher.
I did not know that. God, he's so cool.
He's a pro surfer.
He was like probably the same. He's an ex-pro surfer, but he was probably the same level of like the same tier of pro, like a regional or like an AM rider where you have sponsorships, but you're not fully paid like year round. But in surfing before he like just became a famous DJ and then was like, oh, I'm going to do this instead.
So the exact same as you.
Yeah.
But can't wait till you're at Fisher's level. Don't forget us.
Absolutely. I won't forget.
But no, so maybe we'll just all rise together and be like, the Saucy Sibz are fucking here.
High tides rises all boats, right?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. High tides raises all boats. I've never heard that. I love that. So I feel like when you are like at that level of like, okay, I'm a pro this, I'm a pro that, or you're just kind of getting there, it makes you more comfortable with the idea of like doing pro something else.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. I would attest to that for sure.
Yeah.
So you just like, you know how it's like it's a different way of doing it. It's not a hobby anymore. It's like a profession, you know?
Yeah.
So you kind of take that mindset and apply it to whatever else.
I think it's funny how it kind of like evolved. So like, I think even just with podcasting, when we started, done is better than perfect. And you just want to like get something out there. just to kind of see what you can get away with. That's a really good mindset to have. Like, oh, I'm just doing it to put shit out and see what I can get away with. Because it'll make you start. Because otherwise, if you want it to be perfect, you'll never start. But then you kind of start taking it more seriously. And I think we've been podcasting now for like 11 months.
11 months this podcast.
And we're really
a year.
Almost.
Yeah. Anniversary.
But we're really starting to take it seriously and treat it like as a real job.
Yeah. You guys are killing it too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Kill it, you know.
Yeah, we're getting there. And but I think even in the past couple of weeks, just starting to think about like our future and making money off it, and like, all right, like it should get off the pot. I don't want to be in the next 2 years be like, oh, we have this like little podcast. I'm like, no, like
it's a cute little show we do.
Right. Yeah, like as a hobby, like no. This is what
That's the difference. That's the professional mindset, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, and we were talking before we started too about talking to you, and I think the certain friends we've made are kind of like have that mindset and are going that way, and that's who we're trying to surround ourselves with. And there's other people who we're kind of like, okay, like you're great, love you, but like we might like we're kind of going this way and taking this more seriously. And I think it's just been a lot of people we've talked to are kind of letting things go. And people that don't maybe just kind of like mesh with like the future you see for yourself.
Right. I absolutely can. I feel you on that for sure. Letting go has been a big theme. And also I think that a lot of the people you have had on this podcast, like Zach and Em and Madi and all those people have that same in that whole friend circle.
Yeah.
Like they're all doing their own like business or side like project that is starting to really like gain a lot of traction and attention, which is awesome to see because we're all kind of coming up together.
Yeah. All of us really are, you know, and, you know, is talking when we were saying like being, you know, pro at one thing to the next thing to the next thing. When we had Liam Riley on, he was a professional cheerleader turned professional porn star. And then now he's doing drag. And it's just like you being with him and like, you know, he was even talking like, you know, he's never really been on a podcast and stuff like that, but just seeing what we're doing, it's just like, you know, the next step that you take is always going to be like more, you know, professional and stuff like that. And that's, I feel like that's being, as our mind shift is changing, our listens are really changing with the podcast. And like our stats right now are kind of blowing up in such a good way. Something I've been trying to do and it's finally happening, you know? So it's like, it's really good to like see that going on. But like, as I get more serious about it, it becomes more serious.
Yeah. If you don't follow us on TikTok, follow us. We just started TikToking pretty seriously. And it's funny. We've been putting shit up for months and it hasn't really gone anywhere. Then all of a sudden we're talking, we like put ourselves in TikTok boot camp. I'm like, Nick's like, stop scrolling Instagram. Instagram's
fucking done with Instagram.
It like, we'll do it because
it's trying to be TikTok now.
Yeah,
it is. And they're killing themselves
epically. Yeah.
I could talk about it for 45 minutes. It like, they're literally like making themselves irrelevant.
Yeah, it really is.
And I just want to hang out with my friends on TikTok. But I think it was 2 weeks ago we really started posting seriously and just putting that energy out there. And we're getting like 300 new followers a day on TikTok out of nowhere. We're like, oh shit.
It's insane right now.
Hell yeah.
And it's good that like people are actually, do you TikTok?
So I made one. I haven't, I think I posted like 3 or 4 things and I've really been meaning to make more posts on it lately. Like I need to prioritize it. I know that it's like there's no algorithm for it right now. It's like whatever you put out just gets sent off into the ether of following. And
there's an algorithm. Like, you can definitely like, because you know they know what you look at, what you read, how many seconds you're on it.
About you.
It will learn very quickly. It's just a better algorithm. So it's like what you actually want to see. And so how I've kind of started is just like start scrolling.
Yeah.
Get your algorithm like onto what you want, search your things. But the For You page is pretty good. It'll learn you really quickly.
Nice. And
then you're like, oh, like this is so much more fun.
Yeah.
And so much better. Like I get off Instagram and I'm just kind of like, oh, I like
exhausted,
don't feel great.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, nah.
And I get off TikTok. I'm like giggling. I'm like learning things. And now I'm like, okay, like I want to be a part of this more.
Yeah.
And then you see the type, because you know, you have to like orient your brain a certain way for the type of content, like Snapchat.
Oh yeah.
When that was a main thing, your brain worked a certain way for like, oh, I want to snap this or Vine. Because it was only 7 seconds.
Yeah, I remember Vine. That was
Vine was fucking good.
OG.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Vines are different than TikTok. So it's just a whole like you kind of got to see like the TikTok world and get into it. And then
because it's almost like a language. You got some people say like you have to open your TikTok chakra, but no, it's like
a medium.
It is a full medium. Yeah. It's just a different way of seeing things, but you have so many good fucking videos of you snowboarding and doing things, or just like even you DJing, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like you have a lot of good content that could be,
thank you.
That will be, you're welcome, will be absolutely way better received on TikTok than Instagram, because Instagram fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And
you don't.
Sorry. Instagram, it like the algorithm, it limits it. You know, so that's what I meant more with like where TikTok, it's actually getting stuff out to new people who don't know you and who are then gonna follow you and want to be interactive. Yeah.
And it's that positive reinforcement, because like right now, like
positive reinforcement.
because it makes you want to keep doing it.
No,
I get negative reinforcement on Instagram. I'll be like, oh my God, like this will be great.
Didn't get enough likes, and you're like, what did I do wrong?
My like food blog, because I haven't used it in like kind of years, but I just periodically, but I'm wanting to start getting into it. I'll get 12 likes on something and I'm like, fuck this shit. And I have over 20,000 followers who are real followers who I used to have like this relationship with. And I know I could keep working at it, but since I'm not getting that positive reinforcement,
it doesn't make me want to do it.
Yeah.
It's toxic.
It kind of toxic, is. Yeah. I get like depressed when like shit doesn't. And not that everything on TikTok blows up, but like at least people are like looking at they see the content. When Instagram is just not showing shit to anyone.
Right.
Unless you pay for it. Yeah. Like they just want
their posting like every single day something. And then that's just.
Yeah, I will say I don't want to do the whole like scarcity mindset. Instagram is there's still people getting good engagement on there because they've found their people. They've consistently done it. Yeah, I get that, but it is an uphill battle.
It is an uphill battle. You know, right now, Corey, we are getting attacked online viciously. Okay, now
it's not all rainbows and butterflies on TikTok, guys.
We made a joke about like how like gay bars have stronger pours. Like that's just a thing. The drinks at gay bars are stronger. That's been a thing. And it's like, has that always been a thing? So, and I said, I was like, okay, we just need an older gay man or an older gay person to tell us. So we posted that and it got like, 300,000 views on TikTok. It's like fucking blowing up. Wow. Okay. But someone then commented, are these not the older gays? Talking about me and Francesca. I'm 20 fucking 7.
So okay,
I'm 20 fucking 7.
And then, okay, you guys, I don't know if you've ever been attacked by a horde of 14-year-olds on TikTok.
Like gay 14-year-olds. Have you ever been attacked by a herd of gay 14-year-olds?
Not yet.
No. Welcome to TikTok.
Welcome to Saucy Sibz TikTok, because you'll be on it.
Yeah.
No, so
I'm mentally preparing right now.
So then we put up like a rebuttal because they're like, aren't these not the older gays? Because listen, we are the elders apparently on TikTok. And like we're literally like TikTok senior citizens.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like what age range were you thinking originally?
I wanted to know about like a 50 to 60-year-old
if they were like back,
because that's what comes to my mind. Yeah. But then also we're all like about to be 30 or 30.
I'm 30, gonna be 33.
So
we're old.
But so we said that we were like, okay, so then actually love the older gay men. Thank you guys for coming on there. And they were like, hey, older gay here in my 50s, strong pours at gay bars have always been a thing. So we're like, yo, thank you. But then when this one guy said, are these not the older gays? We did like a rebuttal comment to that on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then Nick was like, oh my God, I'm 27.
Oh my God. That's when
it went off. That opened the floodgates.
A swarm. They're like, that's 27. That's a rough motherfucking 27.
No, it's been like, okay, probably since we've been doing this podcast, I've probably had like maybe 10 comments of like 20-year-old gay people from like wherever just being like, damn, I thought you were 42. Or people would be like,
come on.
I know.
They're like, white people really do age terribly. Or then it'll be like age like, and then the milk emoji.
Yeah.
Like we age like milk.
Age like milk.
Savage.
No, it's so fucked up. And I didn't even know that like I was opening this up. And then sometimes I get the comments be like, oh my God, you guys are being so mean. Like he definitely looks older, but like daddy hot. And I'm like, daddy hot? Like what the fuck is this? Like, so I'm like, thank you for complimenting me, but I'm not using the word daddy.
I do like people are defending us. They're like, but then they're also laughing. They're like, damn, I kind of feel bad for them, but shit, these comments are entertaining. And I'm like,
it's like an Xbox chat room.
Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't say it's like, I'm like, do I need Botox? Like, do I need to, but I do think I'm getting hotter with age. Thank God.
No, someone responded to your Botox comment and they were like, hey, she does not need Botox because she looks fucking good.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
There's actually like
Thanks,
a lot.
Guys.
That's the thing with TikTok. Yes, they're fucking roasting us, but like, I feel like it's banter. It's funny. People are like, we're having a good time.
I feel like it's my friends roasting me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not upset about it. As I'm like crying, I'm like,
fun.
I'm totally fine. I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
No, it
that's
didn't. Because people on Instagram are fucking mean.
Well, we get a lot of homophobes.
And that's just
my
like, it's a
favorite one.
different type of mean. It's turning into the Facebook.
It's like the Facebook. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like keyboard warriors just
It's a
sitting
bunch
there.
of boomers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so at least TikTok is like my fun little friends like fucking roasting.
I know. I'd rather be like roasted for fun. And you're going to be roasted too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay,
I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
I mean,
That's the energy we're like putting out there. We're like, all right, 14-year-olds just fucking roast us. I feel like it's just making me better. So
I feel like a gay 14-year-old is with a man with a mustache. Like, what is he going to think about a man with a mustache as a gay 14-year-old, you know? But no, but it is really crazy. Some guy said that he was like, hey, teacher here, I just want to let you know that like, high schoolers don't really have a concept of time. You know, they have middle school and like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and then post.
Yeah.
And I was a camp counselor for a long time. And like, that was a thing where I'd be like, hey guys, how old do you think I am? And there'd be some 12-year-old girl be like 40. And I'd be like, dude, I was 19.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what are you talking about? It's just because I had a beard.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense though. Cause it seems like so long when you're in high school.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, this, you know, especially if you're like a junior or a senior, you feel like you're so old and been through it all.
Yeah.
And you know everything already. And then you get out and you're like, oh shit.
They don't like think of them. It's just like a 30-year-old's like the same as like a 40, 50. It's like, I don't know. We're in the workforce. Like we're at a different level. They don't really know.
They just can't comprehend it yet.
Yeah.
Well, it's why I don't know the fucking ages of kids.
I mean,
like babies. I mean, I'm a little bit better. I feel like because I'm a girl and I like used to
an older
babysit.
sister.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. Sometimes like 2 to 5, I'm like, what are they? Like, just not around it.
Their cognitive development is not even done yet. They can't even, you know, it's a whole different genre.
But I just like with tallness, I'm like, I don't know. They're just
Play-Doh.
But Nick thought toddler
floating around in the world. Like,
what was it? You thought toddler went to like age 6. It's just like 1 to 2.
How old is a toddler?
I think it's like 1 or 2 or 3 or so.
Oh.
Yeah, because you start
that's
kindergarten
infant to me.
Well, it's even before preschool, right? Like infant, toddler. Toddlers can like they start to walk thoa
I thought toddlers were just like before teenagers. So infant, toddler, teenager.
No,
I now know that, but like Francesca,
so like middle schoolers or toddlers. I mean, you can call them that still, and probably piss them off.
Look at you, toddlers. No.
Our friend calls them fetuses. Our like older caveman friend, he was like, anytime they're like under 30, he's like, look at all these fucking fetuses here, and he'd be like, yeah, like that bar was cool, but fetuses everywhere.
Fetuses everywhere.
So I feel going to any shows that are like the 18 up ones, we have people with X's on their hands. Like there's just
I don't want to hang out with the fetuses
around here. Yeah.
Well, that I was always like, I was going to shows at a very young age, and like when it was 21 and up, I'm just like, bro, like why, dude?
Like, I'm
like, 18. I'm fucking cool. I'm not annoying. I'm not going to try to drink, even though I probably drank already before, you know. And I always thought it was like rested upon alcohol, but as I'm older, I realize it's because you're fucking
vibe.
Yeah. I don't want to go to a show.
Kid. Yeah. I don't want to sit there and talk to a 19-year-old. And I've met because I was a camp counselor, like I've met some like really cool. I actually just visited a camp that I used to work at recently when I was home. Like, I was chit-chatting with some 19-year-olds. They're fine. They're cool. Whatever. Not trying to hang out.
Yeah.
Not trying to hang out. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know.
It's a mentorship situation.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a new thing with like his shows, like no fetus is allowed. Yeah. You're like, I don't get it. Listen to the pod.
Listen to the pod.
Yeah.
But you might be attacked by the fetuses on our TikTok. You're like, I wouldn't want to go to this old ass man show anyway. Fuck you. Hey, your snowboard career's over.
Fuck.
You have a mustache. You're done.
That's fine. I'll just play music.
They'll like it anyway. But no, I was just thinking one of your friends' moms was like, so is your podcast a gay podcast?
Oh my God. Yeah. Just because we had a few gay guests, it turned into like a gay podcast.
But I feel like it always comes up. I was watching a show or a TikTok today that was like, it was like conservative TikTok. And it said something like, I don't care about your sexual orientation. Stop making like gay part of your personality. And I was like, people have definitely said that to you.
I have so much to say about that. Okay. For the record, Corey is straight.
Yes.
And single, TikTok, but
Ladies.
not you 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
But no, okay. We've talked about this before. Like, I'm not trying to make like gay a part of my personality. It's just part of my experience. And it's a pretty
But everything we do is pretty gay.
I mean,
I'm somewhere in the middle, but
fucking hoplark.
Everyone has they're on this. There's a spectrum, right? Like you
Yeah.
can be, and you can have the personality without the, like I think it's the same as like, well, like I don't know. You shouldn't don't apologize to anyone for, what I'm saying.
No.
I know you're not. I know you're not, but yeah,
we talk about it constantly though, to where the podcast is almost become. It's just like an LGBTQ podcast.
Well, because like there's an old saying. It's like, it's not gay marriage, it's marriage, because you didn't gay make coffee, you didn't gay park the car. But I'm sitting there thinking, I kind of do gay make coffee. You know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, the theme of me is gay. I mean, I guess I'm not saying like there's obviously a lot more to me, but like it is kind of gay. So I kind of see what she was saying, but I was just like, I don't know. That was weird.
Just caught you off guard.
Yeah. Well, it was off guard, like just kind of like out of pocket. I'm like, I mean, I'm not like, I didn't tell her that. I was like, well, I'm having a pro straight snowboarder on my podcast next week. How straight is that?
Really trying to balance it out here.
Yeah.
Should I just have a construction worker on next week? Just like,
gosh.
See that?
Yeah. Super. Like just get a full on Trump.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Are we saying it is a gay podcast or not a gay podcast?
I kind of think it is at this point.
Yeah.
Most of our friends are like, it's gay friendly podcast.
The gay friendly podcast.
Huh. If you're not at least a little gay, you haven't deconstructed it. I'm just kidding. Kidding. I don't believe that. But
it's a sibling podcast and it's a funny podcast. It just like it happens that we have a lot of gay friends and I don't know.
Yeah. And it is a sibling podcast. And that's why it's not a sex podcast, because we don't go into like major detail. I'm like, so Francesca.
I know, because we've definitely talked about stuff and I'm like, we tote this line because like we are best friends and then we do chat like openly, but then I'm not going to sit here and like tell like a detailed sex story because you're my fucking brother.
Yeah, probably not into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. That's probably best. It just makes sense.
We draw the line.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's just a podcast.
Yeah. Are you moving to Denver actually?
Not currently, no.
Okay, I heard a rumor.
No. I wanted to move to New York City really bad, but
it's we have some cities in our sights.
Yeah.
New York is or Chicago are like
I hated Chicago.
We don't like Chicago.
Nah, really? I lived there, but I lived in New York on and off for like years.
Okay.
And I fuck with New York.
Yeah.
It's just the greatest city in the world. So every time I go to a different city, like even when I'm in...
You compare it to New York, right?
I do. So I'm like, why would I move to Denver? Like I'm in Colorado for like the mountains and there is skiing and I can go hiking every day. But when I moved to Denver, I was just there for a summer. I was just kind of like... It's because it still feels like vacation. Like you have to like fight the crowds and go on a weekend to like go up there on the weekends if you have like a 9 to 5 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just like, why? I could just go on a ski vacation a couple times a year from New York. I'm like, why am I in a concrete jungle, but not in New York? It seems just not.
I get that.
And there's so much diversity there and culture. There's I love Summit County, but there is no culture up there.
No.
None.
We're bringing some like with our friend group and some things going on. I feel like people are trying really hard to bring some shit up here.
You guys are, you're doing it. That whole friend group, House of Vibes,
they're working like very hard to do it. But the amount of culture in New York is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I had a friend who was a straight guy who went to, and granted, he is pretty fucking feminine for a straight guy, but he is he's pretty fucking straight. No, he is 100% straight, but he's pretty fucking feminine, and just like the way that he does things. Like
I can relate to that.
And he went to NYU. And he was like, being a straight man at NYU, it was insane. Cause he was like, yeah, there's all these fucking cool ass gay dudes. and all these straight women, and they're all just like, oh, you're straight. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, hi. You know what I mean? He was like, I've never felt cooler than at NYU just because I was fucking straight and like actually straight, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that would
like
be
the minority.
Yeah. Especially like with men, you know what I mean? And so, and he does kind of like tread that. I mean, right now he has like bleach blonde hair, short, kind of slim shady hair, and he always wears like skinny jeans and like kind of like, you know, thick brim shades. Yeah, some trendy shades, you know. But he still is straight, you know.
So it's a thing with the coast, like New York and LA. A lot of your friends in New York, then they'll like move to LA for a couple of years, like fuck this, go back to New York, or vice versa. People usually like one or the other, but people have lived in New York usually. Like you leave. It's been about 3-4 years now that I've lived there. I moved out
2019.
Yeah, December 2019. I left New York, and it's about that time. It's almost hit 3 years to where I like want to go back. Like I start to miss it.
To New York or to LA?
To New York. So we've thought about like, okay, right now, Nick and I in our future, like have some cities. Cause we're like, man, we can't just fucking hide away in the mountains. We're not retired yet. It's lovely
that's how I
up here.
feel.
Yeah,
it's idyllic.
but like for what we're trying to do, especially like start careers in sort of influencing, whether it's like a podcast or music or whatever, like being in that city specifically.
It just makes more sense. Yeah. And like, I'm like, man, if I like, we'll go out for a night. And you see all the same people where we've been visiting our friends in other cities. And it's like, I went out in LA and I met this person who's friends with this person. It was like, we were like talking about creating together. And I'm like, oh, you're a photographer. Let's like do shit together, a videographer. So it was like, I was like, Nick, like our going out would actually be productive for our lives.
I know.
Instead of seeing the same people like up in this like rich, small town retirement community. But we're looking at LA, New York, Austin now.
I've heard good things.
Or London. But London, we can't work in.
Okay. Yeah.
So we would have to be remote with an American company or fully influencing and podcasting.
Yeah. Right.
Have you been to London?
I have not been to Europe yet.
Oh, okay.
My gosh. Let's all go.
Yeah.
Europe's fucked up cool. I mean, not Europe, but like Europe's great, but London is fucking great.
I mean, half house music is like from there. I mean, and like Chicago, but like that's, you know.
Speaking of that, I was in Sweden. Okay. Do you remember that Fisher song? I'm losing it.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's his biggest.
I know. But I heard that like before it was released in Sweden.
No way.
Yeah.
Like what on like the radio or
no. I was at some club and they were like, you guys want to like hear some shit you haven't, and it was like some DJ.
Unreleased ID. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, bro, what is this? And I was like trying to Shazam it. And I was like, nope, not getting any of it. I found out it was Fisher. So I'm like, who is this guy Fisher? You know? And that was so fucking cool. And because Fisher is known at that point, but like that song wasn't. And I was like, God, you guys have just such good music here.
Yeah.
And it was just because I was in fucking Stockholm. When
I was in Barcelona, my friends from London, it was 2010 and they were showing me minimal techno.
Oh yeah.
And here we weren't, I mean, of course, some people in America and like places in New York and like there were like bars you could go to listen to that, but it was like not on my radar at all. I was like showing them shit I was listening to, which is very kind of wubby. And they were like, what the fuck is this? They were like, no,
they don't like the wub.
Like more dubsteppy stuff. They don't like that in London.
No.
Because it's funny because that's where it came from originally. Like that.
They've moved on. They're in the future.
I mean, I went through that phase too. I think everyone does.
I still am there.
House music.
I still like that shit.
Like house music.
The more like sometimes that it sounds like a garbage disposal, the more I like it. But it is more of like kind of how I was like when I was younger.
Yeah, same. It's way harder party. Like, yeah.
I was really in my like drug phase.
Drugs. Yeah. It's funny how drugs like...
Well, I wanted to say too, because the first time I heard Fisher ever was also, I was in South America and staying in a party hostel in La Paz in Bolivia.
Yes.
And I remember they had like a, what was it? Like a karaoke night and I sang some songs and it was fun. But I remember sitting at a table and they just had this song, Stop It by Fisher, which is like the moving up and down side to side like a roller coaster. You know that one? And I was sitting at the table with I had like my couple of friends from Australia that I met on this trip and we were just hanging out, like having some drinks. And I was like, what is this song?
What the fuck is
so sick. And I Shazammed it. And then that was the first time I heard Fisher and I came back and I was telling one of my good friends who's also, he's like a top level pro snowboarder, Torstein Horgmo, shout out Torstein. He was telling me, he was like, oh, you found Fisher? Like he's the like ex-pro surfer. Now he's a DJ and he's like blowing up and he's very big, like kind of like just like loves the limelight, loves the spotlight, very big and flamboyant and, you know, charismatic. So he's kind of like known more for that than his music, I'd say. But then I found that and I was like, this is it. This fucks. This is awesome.
Yeah. I heard him for the first time. Now the first time I heard Fisher.
Oh my God.
No,
I was in Spain and then
I was in Croatia.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. When I was working for Yacht Week and we just, but I also have a clear memory when I took you to hang out with all the Yacht Week people in Austin, we were staying like 20 people in an Airbnb.
And Fisher was the song that Losing It song we would play all the time.
Yeah, well, no, it's how we woke up the house of 20 people. They like blasted Losing It.
Nice. Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this is so, I was like, Nick, this is so fucking Yacht Week. Because you were like, they fucking like Fisher. And I was like, no, it's like wait, Bible.
I was like, how do you guys know Fisher? Like, I like.
They were like, we live on yachts in Croatia. That's how we know Fisher.
I was like, I was just like, I was at this club in Sweden called like Slaughterhouse, which means like slaughterhouse. And it was an old slaughterhouse turned club in Stockholm.
It's very Swedish.
I know, isn't it? How fucking sick is that? So should we all just like move to New York?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah. Like mom and dad have tried to talk me out of it a little bit because
you've been there a lot.
And I always leave. And every time I leave, I say, fuck this place. And I've heard that it's like kind of dangerous now. So New York TikTok.
Depends on where, right?
But I know.
I love a little danger.
Life on the edge.
But I've heard since the pandemic, it is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But
I think the whole world, for sure.
But I've introduced you. I've taken you around New York.
I've like pretty much only gone through into New York with you, which I just feel like the magic of New York is so cool and everything. And like if I did it on my own, it would be different or whatever. But you were just playing in New York, which I thought was so cool. And I was kind of thinking, I was like, how does Corey just like booking at like some random New York thing? But you said it was your mutual friend. But anyway, we were last time I was in New York, we had gone to dinner. We had gone to the Speakeasy. It was super cool. You know, it's about like 11:30 at night. And we're like, well, what should we do tonight? Like, are we going to a club? And I kind of had the thought in my mind, like, it's New York City. You can kind of do whatever you want. You can do anything you want.
City that never sleeps.
Right? The city that never sleeps. So I was like, okay. So someone who is not well-versed in New York at all, I Googled minimal. I was like, what should I do?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I Googled minimal techno club, New York City tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
And it brought us to two popped up, which
was in Brooklyn.
It was in Brooklyn. Yeah, it was in Brooklyn.
Wait, so if you moved to New York, would you want to be in Brooklyn?
I think the dream would be to be like a top floor penthouse in Manhattan, like specifically maybe like Midtown or like low, like Upper East Side or something like that. But
I love East Village, Lower East Side, but I sent Nick a studio in West Village yesterday on Zillow on Instagram, and
$4,000 a month.
It was $4,000 a month, and it was a literal like teeny,
just a box, right? Like,
yeah, and in West Village,
it was nice, and it had open windows.
But think about it, so it wasn't in a luxury building. So you don't have doormen, you don't have a gym, you don't have laundry, you don't because that's one thing. I moved down to financial and I was able to afford. So my studio in financial was $4,000 a month, but it came with all that. And you have to think, I don't have to spend money on a gym membership. I don't have to spend money on this. So I loved a doorman.
Yeah.
Like they were my best friends. Like East Village and West Village is the coolest place. Yeah. They usually don't have doormen.
Yeah. That would be the dream. I think Brooklyn would be realistic though. Like going there. Plus all the art is in Brooklyn. Like all the creativity, the sweet minimal techno shows. I went to a techno show there last summer. Mm-hmm. It was Adam Bear and Cyrus D. And they played like a 6-hour techno set in one of the Brooklyn Naval Yard warehouses. Went from like midnight to 6 a.m. And it was like the most fun. Like you couldn't even Uber. Like you had to Uber to a certain like area, and then you'd like walk through a gate and have to like navigate through the Naval Yard to get to the bunker that had the show in it. And it was like the coolest, most like underground thing I've ever done. Then I was like, this is Brooklyn. This is a vibe. Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I moved to New York, it would be Brooklyn.
Nick, I'm not moving to Brooklyn.
You're not moving to Brooklyn?
I'm just going to let you know right now. Love Brooklyn. It's super cool. I am not cool enough to live in Brooklyn. Like I'm not shopping all vintage.
True.
I'm not like it's just like a different,
it's a whole vibe.
I'm a Manhattan girl.
Manhattan. Well, Manhattan's the inspiration. Like I said, that's where I would want to be, have it a perfect world or whatever. But I don't know. Well, one day though.
I don't really know New York City well enough to like talk about it, but I mean, but
it's absurd. Well, we've like talked about if we move and we're not like full time making enough money on the podcast, that I might need to just go back to corporate, take one for the team
for a little bit,
and then hire Nick as like our podcast editor or like whatever,
just to fund it.
No, truly, because sometimes like you need to be making like a steady that level amount of money.
Oh yeah,
to be able to put your name down on a lease.
Yeah, you have to make like
it's
4
so
times
much
the annual rent or whatever. Yeah.
You do. And I had to have a letter from my boss. I like signing a lease in Manhattan is a whole fucking situation. And we do not have that income right now.
Right. We're just podcasters.
Not yet.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, fuck no. Right. You're not. What? Yeah, right?
Not yet. That's for sure like the big flexing area, like the movie star, celebrity, politician. They have penthouses in, and I will tell you, because when I was there, I wish also somebody make an app, please, when you're in New York City, that you can, like, you know how they have those apps when you're like searching for mushrooms or gathering, like you can like scan it and it'll tell you exactly like what kind of plant it is or whatever.
Oh, like a Pokedex,
like,
but for plants.
But for New York City skyscrapers. Where you're like in New York City like and you're like, what building is this? And you could like pull your phone out and scan it and be like,
really
what? And it would tell you all the like the history of it, like when it was built, what is it used for now? Is it, you know what I mean? Like,
you might have something.
So much time in New York being like, what building?
Because they do it.
I look it up, like, what's the address? I like find it on the maps and then I Google it and try to figure out stuff about that building. But there's so many that they don't have any, you know what I mean? So
I know the technology exists because they have one for mountains. You just hold it up and the peaks, it'll line up and tell you like what mountain that is. So you could have like, you know what I mean? So
let's get that. Maybe I should patent this.
I'm not kidding.
Maybe we shouldn't fucking forget about that.
No,
did you know that? So where Batman lives is Gotham City and where Superman lives is Metropolis. And they say that Metropolis is New York City by day and Gotham City is New York City by night.
Oh,
isn't that kind of cool?
That is
no, it's very much.
Yeah.
I can see that too. That's
like
very
the underworld and the like.
I kind of love walking around like nighttime New York City. And fucking Gotham.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like Times Square at night too.
I've never been to Times Square at night.
So cool. It's such a vibe. Like
I try to avoid, most like native New Yorkers like just try to avoid Times Square.
Oh, I'm sure
costs.
It's super touristy.
No, I'm not native, of course, but like once you live there for a while, it's like it makes you want to like you can't walk anywhere. It's like bad. But
I went once, but it was like gross. It was like foggy and hot.
New York City in the summer is disgusting.
It was like bad,
but
it's if you go in like July, it's like miserably hot.
The smell of urine, the smell of urine and trash is like nostalgic to me though, and like I almost weirdly like it because it's like
I kind of like that too.
New York,
New York, New York in the summer.
The patio, city of dreams.
Well, it's why all the rich people go to the Hamptons because you got to get out of the city in the summer.
That's why we just need like
we just get a top floor, so
or
you
a
can
top
escape
floor
from all the noise and everything. Yeah. Top floor penthouse. Yeah.
I actually saw a video today. It was like a penthouse that was in the clouds and like they were like opening up like the balcony and it was like all like, foggy and hazy. I was like, okay,
well, that's cool.
We're manifesting it, guys.
I feel like that's our plan. New York City.
New York.
Yeah. I love to hear you say that.
You're not going to snowboard.
Playing there. That's, getting older.
I'm getting older.
Yeah, eventually. I think the dream would be to have a place in New York City and then also have a place like here or somewhere.
That's the dream. I've always wanted a place, like just a place in the mountains and like an apartment in New York.
Yeah. And you can go back and forth whenever you please. You get tired of the city, come run back to the mountains and vice versa.
Is it easy to get to the like airport in New York?
Nah, it's an Uber. It's like a $30 to $40, $50 Uber.
LaGuardia is the closest
to
like Manhattan and Brooklyn.
I always fly LaGuardia. JFK might be closer.
I think it's a little farther. It's more up. It's more like north.
I've never been to JFK.
I've been to JFK.
Have you? I don't.
Yeah, when I went to Italy, I was
gonna say maybe
JFK.
Okay.
Maybe once, like flying abroad, but you're close to London.
I know
you're like really close to
London is only a little bit further away from New York City than LA is.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's like 30-minute more. 30 to an hour more.
Okay.
I forget which airline is buying a couple of these. They're like these new commercial.
It's American.
Is it American? Yeah.
Supersonic.
They go like 1.2 Mach.
What were they? They used to have them way
The
back
Concords?
the Concords. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was like a big crash and they like banned them.
Yeah. So they
talking
had
about? What are you
these. Okay.
talking
So they
about?
used to have these flights
Fill me
between
in.
between London and New York that would go in like 4 hours.
They're supersonic. They break the speed of sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a commercial airline.
A bunch of people
So,
died because they
yeah.
just kept crashing.
'Cause
They
they-
went too fast.
It's like imagine flying a fighter jet, but like commercial airline. But
Just
like
a whole
that
bunch of
speed.
people yelling about
Yeah.
peanuts.
Yeah.
But American is
whoa.
investing in like a fleet.
To like do that again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's going to be. It's like flights will be instantaneous at a certain point, you know? So
We'll go
it's
to
like,
space soon enough too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, yeah.
wow,
wild.
that's kind
Yeah,
of,
but it's like it's official. Like Americans investing in some Concords.
well, that's fucking super cool to hear because like, I want to live in New York almost because it's closer to London. And
Mhm.
London's my
True.
favorite city
And
in
then
the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so cool. It's the
I think
best.
New York is our stepping stone to then like living in Europe. That's
Yeah.
I know that's one big thing we want to do is to be over. Actually, we've been just talking about like pitching like a reality show
Mhm.
as like the Saucy Sibz. So they're
Oh, that would
selling
be
because
I would watch that.
we
I would
really
say.
want to
yeah.
go. Thank you. And we really want to go to Italy. And we're working on our Italian passports because we have a right by blood. And they're selling Italian homes for €1.
It's a whole villa
What?
for a
Yeah.
euro.
But you have to own it for I think 4 or 5 years, and you have to invest at least $100,000 into it.
Yeah.
And like Nick and I obviously don't know anything about remodeling, but we think it would be like a funny show idea to like just learn off YouTube how to remodel this house. And
Yeah.
it's just me and Nick yelling at each other about
Right.
like and like designing this house, and then like bringing in like cool like friends
Yeah.
or like kind of like House of Vibes. Like Zach could
Housewarming
help
party.
us.
Housewarming party.
I'll DJ
Yeah.
the housewarming
Yeah.
party.
Exactly. But things like that, and just like kind of make it like a cool, funny show. And I was like, yo, like we can do that.
That would be so sick. Actually.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, that's like what I want to do.
Why did you guys move to New York to move to Italy?
Yeah. So then you're
On the
kind of
way
like
to
just
Italy.
fucking moved to Italy
Yeah.
at some point. But I think just the connections and the people and the things going on, it's just in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like we said, the people you surround yourself with,
Yeah.
the crew that we've all found out here
Mhm.
is like infinitely more big
Mhm.
than there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like all of
It's-
your friends. Like
Yeah.
we found like the coolest people in Summit and in
did.
Denver. We really did. And then, but it's like, it'd be kind of like a subset of all your other like bigger groups.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Oh yeah. Plus, I feel like I don't want to. And like, I feel like just the vibe there is so real.
Mhm.
And like, I've heard people say this, which I don't, no hate to LA or anything like that, but they say people in LA are like fakely nice, but deep down they're kind of assholes. But then people in New York are fakely assholes. Like that's
But,
the front, but deep down they're like really nice.
Absolutely.
I can see that. I can see that.
I had that experience. People are like, oh, you don't want to go to New York. Like everyone's an asshole. And I don't know if I've said it on the pod before, but like when I went to New York,
I'm
like
walking here.
I'm walking
yeah,
here.
they don't have time for tourists. They don't care. They're fucking busy because
Yeah.
they're doing shit. But like if you live in New York, it's almost kind of like you're in the club. Like it is hard to live there. It is fucking expensive. And everyone's hustling.
Yeah, it's big
It's-
hustle.
And people
Mhm.
respect you if you're fucking hustling
Doing
and
it.
you're putting yourself in that city instead of being like, oh, I'm kind of trying to like do this DJ thing or whatever. Like if you're in New York and you're trying to be DJ, you're fucking going for it.
Yeah.
And they respect you for that. And so they'll help you and try to help you live there.
Mhm.
And that's just what I always found, that it was such a sense
Yeah.
of community. And like I've even been on the subway and like my grocery bag broke and like people were like grabbing my stuff, helping me.
Yeah.
Someone grabbed a like
Set.
reusable grocery bag out of their purse, like this older lady, and she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, here," and I was like,
Oh, nice.
"Damn!" Like in Missouri, everybody
No
would
one
just
would
kind of
fucking
look
do
at
that,
me.
yeah.
East Coast hospitality, that's
They
That's
are.
a
It's-
different kind.
I experienced the opposite. Everybody was so nice to me there.
Okay. Down to move New York. That sounds fucking great.
All right, we're moving to
Every
New York.
podcast we're like moving to a different
Just like
place.
moving to LA. You know, we actually moved to LA for like 2 days.
For only 2 days?
No, we
Oh,
were
they
like
didn't-
officially going to find jobs and find an apartment. We had
But
decided.
then we changed our mind. But it was 2 days.
Oh.
Like
I thought you meant you actually moved there physically,
No.
and then 2 days went by, and you're like, "Fuck this." I'm
But
out.
we were in LA when we
Okay.
were doing this. Like
Okay.
we were in LA and we are like, let's just move here. And for 2 days, we're like, this is what we're doing. And then after 2 days, it was like, okay, actually, we're not. But
we didn't have enough money saved up to like put a deposit down on a place. Like we kind of like miscalculated, and my health was like in the shitter. So it just wasn't like
it wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't.
Yeah. But we did like emotionally move to LA for 2 days.
Committed to it.
Yeah,
we
100%.
really did. We thought we were.
I told my best friend who lives in LA. She started crying. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited!" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Her and I haven't lived together since college," and like I was like, "I'm so excited to be in the same city with you." Like, it was like a whole thing.
Dang, fully committed. Moved to LA, and then
I know.
Nope.
So I think we could end on that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving to New York.
We're moving to New York City.
Moving to New York City.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Not yet. But between all the cities, it's really just I follow someone who actually one of the Giggly Squad girls, and she just like it was like her latte and like her wallet, and it was just like, damn, could you imagine just not living in the greatest city on earth? And I fucking felt it in my soul, because that's how I used to feel.
Imagine.
Yeah, that's how I used to feel. I'm like, damn, some people just like don't experience this magic every day.
That's fucking cool.
Food for thought. You guys give us your thoughts on where you think
should we move to New York?
Should we move to New York? Let us know what you think in the comment section below.
Yeah.
But Corey, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you guys so much. For real. This is so much fun.
We can have a part 2 in our New York apartment.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in New York, you can like rent a studio.
Yeah, for this stuff.
In the studio.
Yeah, true.
Well, you guys, if you like this, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Please follow us or subscribe to us on YouTube, TikTok. Please leave a comment, leave a review. It helps us so much. And we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. And then we'll put Corey's information in the show notes. Do you want to say anything?
Yes. Just shout outs to all the homies. Shout out to you guys, Madi, Zach, Emily, everyone. And also, my Van Aken at VANAKEN. Thank you guys so much.
Woo. See you soon. Awesome. Cheers, guys.
Bye, guys.
Peace. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.